In a moment that bridged the worlds of faith, tradition, and political power, U.S. Senator J.D. Vance met with Pope Leo XIV at the Vatican following the Pope's inaugural Mass, a symbolic and spiritual event that drew global attention. The meeting, which took place in the hallowed halls of the Apostolic Palace, captured headlines worldwide as a representation of the continuing dialogue between Western political leadership and the Catholic Church. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today, we're covering an extraordinary moment in both political and religious history, the meeting between U.S. Senator J.D. Vance and Pope Leo XIV at the Vatican, right after the Pope's inaugural Mass. It's a powerful intersection of faith, leadership, and tradition that's sparking global conversation. Before we dive in, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on major world events and royal moments. Senator Vance, a prominent figure in American conservative politics and a convert to Catholicism, has long spoken about the influence of faith on his worldview. His presence in Rome was more than ceremonial. It was emblematic of an evolving intersection between politics, spirituality, and shared values. Meanwhile, Pope Leo XIV, newly enthroned and already making waves for his intellectual depth and pastoral focus, welcomed the American senator in a spirit of mutual respect. This encounter wasn't just a meeting between two men, it was a symbolic alignment of religious conviction, political ideology, and the shared challenges of our modern world. The setting: a grand stage for a spiritual ceremony. The inaugural Mass of Pope Leo XIV, held at St. Peter's Basilica, was an event of monumental significance. Thousands of faithful gathered in Vatican City's sprawling square, under the shadow of Michelangelo's dome, to witness the first major liturgical event of the new pontificate. Heads of state, diplomats, clergy, and pilgrims from across the globe arrived to pay homage to the new spiritual leader of over 1 billion Catholics. Among them was Senator J.D. Vance, who attended the ceremony as a representative of the United States, accompanied by members of the U.S. delegation to the Vatican. His attendance carried symbolic weight, not just as a U.S. official, but as a Catholic convert whose personal journey mirrors a wider trend of faith among young conservative leaders. Clad in a formal suit, with a respectful air of solemnity, Vance was seen engaging with cardinals and diplomats throughout the day. However, it was his private meeting with Pope Leo XIV, scheduled shortly after the Mass, that would capture the attention of media outlets around the world. Pope Leo XIV, a pontiff of wisdom and renewal. Pope Leo XIV, born Cardinal Francesco Bonini, has been described by Vatican observers as a theologian with a pastor's heart. Known for his scholarly work on Catholic social teaching and human dignity, he is expected to steer the Catholic Church into a new chapter of engagement with the modern world, particularly around the challenges of secularization, technology, and global inequality. In his homily during the inaugural Mass, Pope Leo XIV emphasized themes of unity, humility, and justice, calling on global leaders to pursue a deeper moral grounding in their policies. "We must remember," the Pope declared, "that political power is not merely about governing but serving, and that every public act must be weighed against the eternal truths of human dignity and divine love." His words seemed tailor-made for leaders like J.D. Vance, individuals navigating the complex terrain of public service, moral responsibility, and ideological conflict. The meeting, faith and politics intertwined. Later that afternoon, in a private audience held in the richly decorated Clementine Hall of the Vatican, J.D. Vance and Pope Leo XIV met face to face. The scene was charged with both ceremonial gravity and personal sincerity. According to Vatican insiders, the meeting lasted just under 40 minutes, an unusually long duration for a first-time audience with a political leader. Though much of the conversation remains confidential, sources familiar with the discussion report that the two men spoke at length about the role of religious values in public life, the rise of political polarization in Western democracies, family and community restoration in a post-industrial society, and the moral implications of technological advancement, including AI and biotechnology. Vance reportedly expressed admiration for the Pope's emphasis on subsidiarity and solidarity, two cornerstones of Catholic social teaching that align with many of his own policy positions on decentralization, local governance, and the restoration of American civic life. J.D. Vance, a senator shaped by struggle and faith. J.D. Vance's journey from the hills of Appalachia to the hallowed halls of the Vatican is nothing short of remarkable. The author of the best-selling memoir Hillbilly Elegy, Vance rose to prominence by sharing his personal story of poverty, family dysfunction, and resilience. His rise to the U.S. Senate, representing Ohio, marked the emergence of a new voice in American politics, a populist conservative who speaks the language of working-class America while drawing deeply from Christian tradition. Vance's Catholic conversion, which occurred in adulthood, was a pivotal moment in his personal life. In various interviews, he has described the church as a spiritual anchor that offered order, truth, and a path to reconciliation with his past. "Catholicism gave me a moral vocabulary," Vance once said, "to articulate not only what was wrong with the world, but what was right and worth saving." That faith is increasingly reflected in his policy positions, from his advocacy for pro-life legislation to his support for faith-based community initiatives. His meeting with Pope Leo XIV marks a deepening of that commitment on the world stage. American politics meets Vatican diplomacy. The Vatican has long served as a unique arena for quiet diplomacy, where religious and political leaders can engage in meaningful dialogue free from the distractions of domestic media cycles and partisan noise. For J.D. Vance, this meeting signals a willingness to bring moral and spiritual concerns into international conversation. For Pope Leo XIV, it represents the Vatican's ongoing desire to influence the ethical frameworks of global governance, particularly in liberal democracies where religious voice has often been marginalized. Observers from both political and religious circles see this meeting as a harbinger of future collaboration, especially on shared concerns such as the protection of religious liberty worldwide, addressing the loneliness epidemic and mental health crisis, promoting family stability and parental rights, and exploring ethical boundaries in rapidly evolving technologies. Media reactions: hopeful, curious, and divided. Unsurprisingly, the meeting drew mixed reactions across the ideological spectrum. Catholic media outlets praised the encounter as a powerful reminder of faith's role in public life. EWTN called it a rare alignment of American political will and Vatican moral clarity. Conservative commentators viewed it as validation of Vance's growing role as a leader of the religious right. Liberal critics, on the other hand, voiced concerns about the politicization of papal meetings, questioning whether the church should offer such visibility to figures with contentious policy stances. Nevertheless, few could deny the symbolic weight of the encounter. A young American senator, known for his cultural critiques and Catholic convictions, meeting the newly minted leader of the world's largest religious institution. Looking ahead, a renewed moral vision? With global institutions facing widespread distrust, and Western societies grappling with spiritual exhaustion, this moment between J.D. Vance and Pope Leo XIV could signal a renewed vision for moral leadership in the public square. The Pope's papacy is still in its infancy, but his meeting with Vance may be seen in time as an early move to engage with political actors who take faith and tradition seriously, regardless of their nationality. For Vance, the encounter may deepen his resolve to be a statesman, not just a senator, one who understands the stakes of leadership in both civic and spiritual terms. As the world watches these two influential figures from very different backgrounds come together, the question remains: can faith and politics unite to heal a fractured world? What are your thoughts on the meeting between J.D. Vance and Pope Leo XIV? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your take. If you found this moment as fascinating as I did, please give the video a thumbs up, subscribe, and share it with others who follow international affairs and faith-based leadership. More powerful stories like this are coming soon, so stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.